What's up, everybody? Aaron with Why We Love Horror back for another review. Today, I have taken it upon myself to watch the newest, the reboot in the Deathstalker franchise, directed by Steven Kostanski. There's the 4 different posters there. I've been really excited about this one from the director of Psycho Gorman, The Void, a few other movies that I've liked. I like Steven Kostanski quite a bit in everything I've watched of his, and this is no exception. Right off the bat, the practical effects are what I would say are the highlight of this movie, along with the overall action. The practical effects, I just want to highlight special effects coordinator Mike Hamilton, creature effects coordinator Scott Patterson, and creature effects sculptor Josh Wazelink. All 3 of them and everybody else behind it did their job 100%. I'll spend like most of this review just kind of generally talking about this movie. The plot isn't super important, but basically Deathstalker has a task from an old witch to get 3 items, being an amulet, an amulet, a sword, and a chalice. So it's a little different from the original in that way. Here he's getting the items. The last time he was getting rid of the items. So another major difference between the Roger Corman 80s version and this one is there's no nudity in this one at all. So like the sex, the nudity, the pillaging, and the other word that would get us demonetized, not in this movie. So it's definitely been modernized in some ways. This version of Deathstalker still kicks ass. The sword and sandals kind of horror here is really, really great. It's almost all practical effects. There's tons of blood spray throughout the movie. Great battles. But yeah, the movie more is like about Deathstalker being able to admit like that a real man asks for help at times. So he has his 2 other helpers, Brisbane, who is very, very good in the movie, and she is played by Christina Orhalo. And then Doodad, who's voiced by Patton Oswalt and as a really strange creature. Over the course of the movie, the 3 of them kind of learn their powers and come together to defeat a bunch of monsters. There's a ton of heart, ton of humor in this version of the movie, but it also has a good mean streak as well. It's pretty consistent with a lot of Steven Kostanski's work. I think if you're a fan of Steven Kostanski, I do think that this movie should work for you. I'd be curious. I don't know a ton of fans of the original Deathstalker movies. They aren't very good, like a lot of Roger Corman movies, but they're entertaining. This is just a very different version of it. And I kind of goes along what I expected. Daniel Bernthard, very good in this movie. I knew him from John Wick and a few others, Birds of Prey. He's very, very action focused, but he's able to lead the movie pretty well. It's a movie where, honestly, the plot isn't while you're watching it. Every other scene, you're getting introduced to new characters, new creatures who bring along with them a little bit of exposition. There's really, really funny jokes at times, and then other times the jokes, it's like the doodad going, "Did I do dad?" He literally says that at one point in the movie. So it's a little mystery science theater, and kind of to be expected with someone like Patton Oswalt. Patton Oswalt's in the movie a lot, so if you're a fan of Patton Oswalt, definitely show up for him as well. And it moves along at a tidy pace. It's under 90 minutes long, or I believe it's 90 minutes long. It says it's 103, but I don't believe it's 103. I think that's with the credits. There's it's just like a really good production. I think it's kind of strange how quietly it got released. I think it's a little bit of a shame, like a lot of Steve Kostanski movies that, I messaged a friend of mine about the movie, and I believe they said, I don't think a Steven Kostanski movie gets released loudly. So, I do live in a horror bubble in some ways, but I think this one's worth seeking out. I think it would have been worth seeing in a theater. It's a really shame, that it didn't get a theatrical release at all. I know not a whole lot of people are going to go out to the theater for Deathstalker, but I would have. So I'm not thinking about everybody else, I guess. But yeah, seek this one out. Check it out. Let's go ahead and get those ratings. Yeah, I just kind of avoided the plot because the plot isn't really that important. It's that these three people killing monsters, tracking down a woman to free her, all the classics of a sword and sandal. So for me, I went into this movie expecting to like it. It was a better quality than I was expecting. And I'm proud to, be wrong about that. So 4 out of 5 videotapes for me on Deathstalker. I think this is better than the original. I think it would have been interesting to see it kind of lean into the original, but for it modernizing, it was surprisingly not annoying with how it did it. So I don't know if I'm just becoming woke or what's happening to me, but you can get in the comments. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me why Deathstalker 1, 2, and 3 are so much better than this new Deathstalker, and this new one is an insult to the grave of Roger Corman. Get in the comments or tell me why I'm right or whatever. But thank you for checking out the channel. You know what's coming next. Everything else that comes up on the channel. Pause the screen if you want to see it. Here it is. Bye.